First tonight, 4 Irish children have died in accidents involving window blinds since 2009. And there have been many more near misses. Just 3 months ago, a Donegal family very nearly suffered one of these tragedies when their 3-year-old slipped on a windowsill. Tadhg Enright went along to meet them.
Jack Hagney is like any playful little 3-year-old, living with his mum and dad and sister Lily in Falcarra, County Donegal. But just a few months ago, Jack almost died when he accidentally got caught in the looped cord of a window blind.
You think they're safe in your own house, but there you go.
We know how close he came, and we do go through what if it had happened, but we try to stop ourselves thinking that way.
Jack was lucky to have survived, but in the last 5 years, there have been 4 children in Ireland who did not. And in the time it takes to put on the kettle, change the channel, these children were strangled in their own homes by a cord like this.
This is the window here, and this is the blind and the chain. The chain was coming to here before we got done short. And Jack and Lily was playing here on the sofa.
As kids do.
As kids do, and Jack happened to just go up on the windowsill and put the cord round his neck and slipped off then. And he was hanging from that.
Lily came running into the kitchen to say to Michael that Jack was asleep on the blind, that he was a funny colour and he had a bubble coming out of his mouth.
So I ran in and there he was hanging from the blind.
Well, Michael ran down to the bedroom to me and he was carrying Jack at that stage across his arms. And when I saw them, I just thought straight away that Jack was dead. It was just horrendous.
So I started then giving him mouth-to-mouth for maybe 15 to 20 seconds.
Yeah. Did you know what, had you done mouth to mouth before? Did you know what you're doing, or was it just an instinctive thing?
It just come to me.
And every breath that Michael gave Jack, I was just hoping and praying that that would be the one.
He took a big breath then, and he started to cough, and started to cry, and we knew then, well, he was still alive, I knew.
He was taken to Letterkenny General Hospital. They were just amazed that actually he was still alive after what had happened.
Children are particularly vulnerable because, unlike adults, their necks are not fully formed.
As the child gets caught up in the blind cord, it presses upon the carotid sinuses just behind the angle of your jaw here. And within seconds, it can slow down your heart rate, reduce the blood flow to your brain. Our child has lost consciousness within seconds. Now they are unconscious, and their entire weight is being suspended upon this curtain cord. Soon after that, their brain is dead. Soon after that, their heart is dead. My advice to any parent, or indeed any caregiver, is be prepared for the unexpected. Have some knowledge of some first aid. If the child has stopped breathing, at least you can breathe for them using mouth to mouth. It's very simple. If you're required to do chest compressions, that again is very simple.
Who's this?
Making up my hair.
That's right. The marks that were around his neck from the cord have faded. He still talks about what happened, but we think he's fine and was very lucky.
No. Which blue do you like best, Jack? Show Mummy.
The numbers are too big to be ignored. We cannot have one more child die in Ireland from a curtain blind.
There are new EU safety standards for window blinds, but safety campaigner and former window blind fitter Aaron O'Connell thinks those guidelines should be mandatory.
The issue will be with how the standards are policed. They're voluntary standards, and that's my problem.
I suppose some people say nothing in the home is 100% safe. Why should window blinds be singled out so much?
Isn't the important thing that you make things as safe as possible? But like one child's life is one too many, lost.
So Aaron, this is a common or garden blind you bought in a DIY store?
Yeah, it's a roller blind. In 80% of households that have blinds will actually have roller blinds. The chain here is actually, it's a hazardous loop. As you see, it's quite close to the ground, but even more importantly, or worse still, there's a chair here.
This is a mistake a householder makes. How could they have made this safer?
Well, a safety device like this.
To make your blinds safer, measure a distance of 1.5 metres off the ground and then attach the safety device. Feed the chain through it, then cut the chain to the right length. Then use the provided connector to relink it.
In Germany, for example, Installers have to do a college course to be able to install window blinds, but we don't have any form of apprenticeship or courses. It's a cottage industry.
You could have anyone in their own home fitting their own blinds.
Yes.
Venetian blinds also have their own set of hazards.
So Aaron, what are the threats that this kind of window blind would pose in the home?
Well, there are a number of threats, Tadhg. The first one is we have a hazardous loop here. You have two cords finishing in one acorn.
And that could just act as a noose. A child could get his head caught in there. That won't break under a child's weight.
Not in the slightest.
Aaron gives us a simple solution to this problem, a breakaway tassel at the end of the cord.
If I was to put my hand in here, simulate a child's head or neck, and just drop, that'll just split open. The second one will be, obviously, as you raise this type of blind, the cord lengthens. Cord gets longer, you have to tie it off.
It has to be tied up.
And next, a cleat to wrap the cord around.
Tie it off, and it's out of harm's way now. Third one we have relates to the inner cord. So if a child pulls this cord from between the slats, you've created another hazardous loop. So the child can put his head in here.
A pair of simple cord blockers will stop the cord going through the lock and prevent the inner cord from moving.
So I can't pull this any further.
So it blocks that from being able to be pulled out?
Yeah.
You never think it's going to happen to you. It's something that happens to other people. And obviously the new guidelines have recently come out, but whether it's enough or not, because Jack had his accident, other children have had fatal accidents, so we do realise how lucky we are, and every day we think about what happened.
Well, I'm joined now by John Shine from the National Consumer Agency. John, thank you very much indeed for coming in to us this evening.
Very welcome, Cian.
Why is it not against the law to sell these without the clips?
The main issue here is one of public awareness. And what we're really keen to do is to emphasise to parents the fact that there are potentially hidden dangers in their homes, i.e. window blinds with cords. The really important thing is when parents are child-proofing their homes, they simply don't realise that there is a hidden danger there.
There are some very, very simple devices that would make these blinds safe.
Yes.
Why is it not illegal to sell them without these devices?
And the crucial, I will come on to that, but the crucial thing is for parents to be aware that there is the hidden danger and that there are some very simple steps that they can take and the simple devices that we have seen. So very simple actions can be taken by parents to avoid this problem. There is a requirement in the new standards to have certain safety elements in the new blinds. So any blinds manufactured from the date of the new standards will have to have those. The big issue is
the guidelines, though, aren't they?
The big issue
is
the fitted stock. Yes, you're right, they are guidelines. Standards are not mandatory.
Well, why are they guidelines?
Well,
why is there not legislation
in a
around
product
this?
safety context, standards are voluntary. And
why? Why should they be?
Well,
4 dead children in 5 years.
That is the system. That is the way the system works. Manufacturers are required to produce safe product. Again, I would emphasise, no matter what happens in relation to standards, there is a very significant amount of fitted stock in most of our homes in this country, which have still to be made safe by the simple measures we've seen in the clip.
You're right. There are two issues here with the fitted stock, and we'll talk about that in a moment in terms of education. But the key issue here is to make sure that these devices are safe going into the future. So why not make it mandatory that the blinds cannot be sold without the safety devices?
Well, legislation is potentially possible. I mean, that is something that's not within the remit of the National Consumer Agency.
Would you not advocate for it? Would you not look for it?
Looking to, for instance, ban certain types of products, they're not inherently
I'm not talking
unsafe.
about a ban. I'm talking about making it mandatory to fit safety devices with them.
And the standard does require certain things to
Again,
come.
it's a guideline. Is that good enough?
But that is the way standards work. Standards are guidelines. It is not, the agency cannot enforce standards.
But the agency could look for legislation. I mean, we don't say there are guidelines around safety of children's toys. We don't say there are guidelines around poison products within foodstuffs. You know, we look for laws, we look for legislation. Again, 4 children have died here.
And there is underpinning legislation covering general product safety, and window blinds would come within that legislation. So we would examine any window blinds in the context of that to see if they were actually safe or not.
What have you done in terms of informing people about the potential dangers of these blinds?
Well, we've undertaken a number of media campaigns over the years. We've also produced a video which is available on our website. Quite a lot of parents have actually downloaded that video, a very short information video, which again describes the nature of the danger and also sets out the very, very simple steps that can be taken to actually make those window blinds safe.
Do you think you've done enough?
Well, we've also engaged with manufacturers in the retail trade, bringing to their attention the potential dangers in this area and the standards that are in place.
Any plans for any campaigns in the future? Anything in train at the moment?
Well, not at this particular moment in time, but we will always look to see. But in the background, we are always pushing this message out, for instance, through social media and Facebook, and we will keep it under review.
OK, John Shine, thank you very much indeed.